honey, get the money, honey, get the money, honey, get the money, honey. Hey, 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 give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Christina L Turner, Kingmaker, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Business Talk with Christina L Turner, and I am so glad that you are here. I'm an entrepreneur just like you. I've been in business for over 30 years. I've been in this entrepreneurship journey. And one of the things that I love to do is not only just be your destiny helper, but also help you navigate through business. My level of expertise helps new entrepreneurs. Either they want to get into business or they have been in business for at least 1 to 3 years. So if you watch my last video, we talked about validating your business, and we talked about what validating was and some of the steps that you take in validating your business before you even start having a business. And a lot of people don't talk about that. There are certain things that you should do before you go get your EIN number, before you register your business name, all of that wonderful stuff. You need to have the process of validating your business. So this is part 2. Now, if you haven't seen my video, I would suggest that you go look at that video and then come back to this video, okay? So I'm just gonna recap on just a couple of things that we talked about. I'm just gonna go over a couple of points. I talked about what it is when you validate, how you define your business idea. That was one. We talked about researching your market, and I broke it down on how you research your market with the marketing trends. And then we spoke about the identifying your targeted audience. And then we went to doing the MVP, which is, develop the minimal viable product. So how to test your product and how to make it cost effective, or make sure that your product is cost effective, because we didn't talk about how to make it cost effective, but how your minimum viable product should be cost effective and easy to develop and quick to launch. Okay, so we talked about that. Also, we talked about researching your competition. Yes, yes, come on. Listen, you have to know who your competitors are. It is not good business sense to just go out and you don't know the people that you are competing against or who may be competing against you. And you have to find your place within that level of competition. You need to know where you are. How are you going to serve the community or wherever or whatever community that you're going to be serving? How are you going to do that? How are you going to give the community something that no one has given before? So we talked about that. Then we skimmed a little bit about creating a business plan, and I did put the link in the last video on how to develop a business plan that's SBA ready. So if you're going for a loan, and I break it all down in those videos, so you might want to take a look at those as well. And then I think that's where we kind of like left off, because I had given you guys so much information. So this is part 2 on validation of your business. And so now let's get into it. And we're going to start with pricing strategy. One of the things that was really, really hard, I remember getting into business. One of the things that was hard for me as the business I was in, and as it had progressed, from one pricing medium to another, because of course things change. The economy changes, more people started getting into the field. And I'll just use, for example, when I became a luxury event planner and designer, at that time, it was only a few of us that was out there doing it, right? And so we were kind of comfortable with our first pricing strategy, you know, it was like $500 events. Can you imagine that somebody's paying you $500 now to put on a luxury event? And could you imagine dressing the ceiling to floor and all of these and flowers and arrangements and color coordinations and creating a palette for a wedding? You're starting off at $500 and then you grow to $3,500, and then all of a sudden people are writing you checks for $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 to design and or plan their wedding. And so when the market started expanding, the pricing strategy had to change as well. Because one, people are, if you know, people sometimes say, you know, you get what you pay for. Well, that's not always the case. One of the things that you have to be really, really careful on when you're trying to do your pricing is how are you going to compete within the market without hurting yourself? Okay, so again, with the pricing strategy in the event planning or wedding planning industry, you had to be competitive. You had to be competitive. And then it became to be almost standardized pricing. Okay. We decided that within the industry, not just the planning process, but also the creative process, particularly when you're designing something, you're putting something together. So that all has to come together when you are setting your price. Okay, so not only are you looking at what your competitors are charging, but you also need to put in your time. How much time does it take for you to do what you need to do? And what is the price per hour? Okay, so let's say, for instance, you're an entrepreneur and you are going to be a designer. Okay, so you're a designer, you have to create a pattern. You have to 9 times out of 10, a lot of designers, what they do is not only do they create patterns, but they also shop for the fabrics, because the fabric has to coincide with the pattern. You just can't just put any fabric with any type of pattern, because maybe the fabric would not work with that particular structure, okay, of the pattern. So let's say that, so you're sketching, right? Then you are, well, first you have to think about it, you're sketching. So you're doing all these different drafts, and all the times that you balled up the pieces of paper and then you throw it away. And then, you know, you finally get something. Now you take that sketch and now you have to create a pattern. You have to make something that's this big become life size, right? So you have to do that. You have to cut the pattern out. Then you have to get the fabric, and you have to add the fabric to the pattern. And then you have to put it together and start piecing it on the mannequin or the person that you're designing it for. So all of these different steps, you have to time in and charge what is your worth. So how do you do that? Okay, so with the pricing aspect of it, this is the way that I look at it. I look at it as if you are working on your job, if you had a job, okay, or you left your job, what was your salary when you left your job? Right now, I'm not talking about like $10 an hour. I'm not saying low like that. I would say if you're doing something that is like that, even for me, because I've been in the industry, as long as I've been in the industry, my fee is $500 for 90 minutes. Okay, so you would have to price yours on the time, your experience. When you left your job, did you leave a 6-figure job because you want to make 6 figures? You can't be afraid to ask for the money. Particularly if you're an expert at what you're doing, okay? Hopefully, whatever it is that you decided to be an entrepreneur about, or get into or partner with, that you have some idea or you have some experience in that field so that people can see you as not just an expert, or also the authority on what it is you do. So that's how you're going to do your pricing. So let's say, for instance, you made $50 an hour when you left your job. I would charge $50 an hour and keep time on how long it took for you to do that particular garment or create that particular craft, and that's how you price it. But then also too, you have to look and see where in the market is the cost for that. So are you pricing in the market of everyday people, or are you pricing in the market for a luxury item? Are you creating a luxury brand? Or are you creating a sustainable brand? Not to say that luxury cannot be sustainable, but you have to decide what type of product or service are you going to be providing so that you can meet within the market, that you can meet within the market, that you could be competitive with your pricing. Like Safeway is competitive to a different supermarket, whereas if you get a loaf of bread, Safeway may have a loaf of bread for $1.25, but a more higher end market like Kroger's or HEB or whomever else, whatever else, the Stevenson's, and so many different supermarkets all over the US, they may be selling their bread for $1.75, right? So are you going, a lot of people, if they're watching their money and it's like, oh, it's the same bread, it's the same kind of bread, it's a white bread or wheat bread, this is 125, this is 175, depending on the client, they're going to go what it is within their financial means, or how it's packaged, and or how it tastes, and or customer service, because sometimes people pay a lot for the service. It may not be all of that, but the customer service. It's like flying on an airplane, okay? Would you rather fly first class, or would you rather fly coach if you're going international, right? So the food may not be all of that, but the service, the amenities of what you're getting for it. So what are your customers going to be getting from you with the pricing that you are that you're putting out for your product or your services? And is the pricing that you're putting out of your product and your services, is it competitive to someone else? Could it be the same? Maybe a cent lower, a cent higher? How do you determine that? So you have to do your research, okay? So you're going to be, this is why you research your competition. When you're researching your competition, you have to look at their strengths, their weaknesses, their marketing position. All of that is entailed into the pricing as well, okay? So also too, when validating your business, you want to make sure that you test different pricing models, okay, and strategies that's going to determine the optimal pricing for your product or your service. So I'm going to say this again. You're going to have to test different pricing models. So different pricing models for probably the same thing, maybe with a little tweak. Okay, and see how that works. But you have to ensure that your pricing covers the costs and it generates a profit. Okay, understand what I'm saying. Sometimes when you first starting off in a business, you're putting so much money into the cost of the business. And sometimes, and I would say maybe, I would say 6 out of 10 when you are investing in a business, sometimes you don't see a return of your investment until after the first year. And it depends on what type of business that it is. Not to say that your business is faulty or anything like that, but you have to understand that whatever you are putting into your business in regard, you are investing into your business, you need to make sure that you know that you're going to get a return on your investment. Okay. So you have to watch it. Watch when you're buying products, where are you getting the products? Because too, let's say for instance, somebody is doing cups. If somebody want to do cups or even t-shirts, and then it breaks or it frays or it becomes really, really thin, and then people are complaining, and then you're getting bad reviews, that can mess up your profitability because you did not, you went on a cheap end and you thought that you were going to be saving money, but you really didn't save money. Same thing with certain products. Same thing with certain products. If you're trying to mix fragrances, whatever, you want to make sure that you have the top, the best, but within reason that you know that you're going to get a return on your investment. Okay. So hopefully that kind of like gave you a little bit on your validating your pricing strategy. And I'm just going to say this, you're going to have to do different models. Okay. And then you have to ensure that your pricing covers the cost and it generates a profit. Okay. All right. Here's another thing. Building an online presence, which is, I know if you're not an online person, I'm really not an online person, even though I'm here on YouTube. I have to have a purpose why I'm doing what I'm doing. I just don't be on YouTube playing around. Some people have a great time on social media. I do not have a great time when I'm on social media, but I love to teach. So because I love to teach, this is where I build my online presence right here on YouTube. So this is just one of the ways. YouTube is one of the ways. Another thing is you want to create a professional website and social media profiles. Hear what I'm saying, professional. I'm going to say it again. A professional social media profile, okay? One of the things that I tell my new entrepreneurs to do is have a separate Facebook, Instagram, Twitter page, and even on TikTok page when it comes to your business, as far as your personal and your professional. And the reason for that is because you need to have a separate identity on what you're trying to portray. Okay. Now I know of some people who that are, when I watch TikTok, it's just a plethora of everything. They're talking about their everyday life, and then they're selling, they combine it all together, and you can do that. But let's say, for instance, if you're into finance or you're into fashion, in regard to you're a fashion designer, or you're a hairstylist, or you're into some type of product development, whatever. You don't want your personal life being on the same page as your business life. It should be totally two different personas, because the investor or people who may be trying to give you money or trying to do collaborations with you, or someone that's trying to engage with you on a professional side, you don't want them to be so tied into your personal side. I always say, don't, I tell my granddaughter, I told my new entrepreneurs, you don't want to be in there talking and having profanity and just not dressed professionally, okay, on your business profile. Business is still business. It is. I don't care unless you're selling sexy clothes and stuff like that, or you got the candy shop, and you have a different, even Candy, even her, she has a different page even for the candy shop, because there's certain things that portrays on there versus her being a recording artist and a producer somewhere else versus her personal page where she's showing her family and having family time. It's all different. They're not all the same. So that's how you should be. You should always have a professional presence when you are trying to portray your services or your products to the people. Okay, you want to use digital marketing techniques to reach potential customers. It's okay to use a promotional agency if you can afford it to market your business. When hiring a marketing person or agency, make sure they are targeting your niche, okay, within the area that you will be providing the service or products to. I'm going to give you an example. I have to use examples because so that you understand what I'm going. And I'm gonna tell you this example because this is where I made some mistakes. When I first got my YouTube channel, one of the things that I did, I hired someone off of Fiverr to promote my YouTube channel, and they promoted in reach and my Instagram. When I first got on Instagram, when I first got on Facebook, I had someone that would promote, but guess where they were promoting? They were promoting in places where I wasn't even doing business. Okay, so here my YouTube channel is mostly for people that's within the United States or Canada. All right, because we have business exchanges in the United States and in Canada. Not to say that the information I'm providing will not help anyone else within the UK or in other countries, but my predominant audience is within the US and in Canada. So you have to, if you hire someone to do marketing, and even if you're doing marketing, make sure that you're doing marketing where you're going to be providing the services and products. That is very key, because what happens is the people that need to see you will not see you if you're being shown somewhere all the way in India. Why are you promoting your business in India if you're not going to be servicing India? So if you get someone from that's going to be marketing, doing any marketing or PR for you, make sure that it's within the region that you're going to be providing the service or the products to. Another thing is conducting surveys and interviews. Um, I love having interviews and getting feedback from potential customers. I love doing surveys when I do a workshop or a seminar. And one of the things that you want to know is, how did you like it? So if someone is buying your product or getting this service from you, you want to know how did this work? How did it go? Not just, can you leave me a review? You know, one of the things I'm learning how to do this. I'm being more aggressive about making sure that people who have their time with me, their consultations with me, that they actually give a review. I didn't used to worry about it before because I would tell them, hey, don't forget, leave me a review. No, you need to get them right there, right when you're trying to finish. So, hey, while you're right here, can you give me a review? The other day, I went to a place to pick up a product, and I says, oh, I want to get this item here. And she said, well, you can have it for free if you give me a review. And I said, oh, okay. And she goes, no, I need for you to give me the review right now. I said, oh, I thought that was so on target. Who would have thought? So while she's bagging up my stuff, and she put the product that I was going to buy, which I could have gotten it for free, I was sitting there typing in a review for her. So you have to find creative ways to get reviews or the feedback from your customers. You got to find a creative way. So like in the midst of, if you're providing a service while you're almost finishing up, if like say, hey, can you do this right now? And I'll give you this. Offer them something, okay, to get the feedback, because you need to know what the feedback is so that you can perfect your business, so that your business is totally taking care of your customers. So because that's the reason why you're in business, right? You're in business to provide a service or a product to your customers, and you want them to have the best that you have to offer. Okay, no matter how small or how big it is. Okay, you also want to ask, you know, what are some of the pain points? Like someone could have said to me, I remember on one of the websites that I have for ChristinaLTurner.com, and one of the feedbacks I got was it was so hard to navigate. The people were like, got a little bit frustrated because it was so hard to navigate. So they needed something that was going to be like boom, 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 boom. Okay, we heard, it got done. All right. What are some of their preferences? Like, oh, you know what? I liked when you did this. I liked how this was wrapped and this was really, really good. This was easy to open, you know, or maybe you should try, and have you thought about using this? You understand what I'm saying? So you want to hear what it is that your customers are saying, okay? And then also too, you want to hear about, you know, the how much it costs. And I know we don't want to hear, no, we just don't. We're human nature. We do not want to hear no one tell us that our prices is too high. We just don't want to do that, because all we're sitting here thinking about, hey, it took me a long time to create this product, or it took me a long time to develop this service to give to you, and you're going to tell me that my price is too high. I've seen other people's reviews where they say, you know, the food was good, but you know, the prices was too high for what they gave. So was it because of the portions? What is it? So you need to be open to ask your customers the hard questions. You know, so would you pay for this again? If they say yes or no, okay. Don't ask them, well, how much would you pay for it? Just say, you know, would you buy this again? You understand what I'm saying? Would this be so, or would you refer your friend to, or a family member to buy this? You need to know if they're willing to pay for your product or your service again. Then another thing too is get an interview. Sometimes it's really good to just randomly just pull somebody out. One of the airlines that I frequent a lot, one of the things that they do is they randomly pull a customer out. Delta is one. I love Delta, love, love, love Delta. They will randomly just pull anybody out, almost like out of the hat, and give them a call and have an interview. And they'll ask a question like, how was this? Did the person use your name? How was the service? Was your food hot? Did you like the food? Like, they ask them all of these questions because they want to know. And you need to get these questions answered because it has to be related to the niche you're in. And then also it has to be related to the product and services you're providing. You want to get it. And I know it can be challenging, a little bit scary, because you feel, and we always feel this way, we always feel what we give is the best because it came out of the core essence of who we are, and we have been dreaming it. But we also have to have room to grow. And we also have to be challenged when people are not as happy that we thought that they should be. So remember, in my other video, I said, well, you're not going to be for everybody. Sometimes you're just going to get people who just going to complain because that's just who they are. Okay. They're going to find something wrong with something. Always. There are just people like that, but you can't take it personal because this is all about business, right? This is all about validating your business. Okay, so let's talk about this. Also, too, you need to run A/B tests. No, what is an A/B test? So one is you need to have you have to do like experimenting with different marketing messages and advertising, and even if you had a landing page, you have to run these tests to see which one really grabs them in, what it will convert into dollars, what will get them to be like, ooh, this is really, really good, right? This sounds good. This sounds exciting. That makes them want to come over to your website or to your social media page or to your LinkedIn and see what it is you're doing. So you're going to have to run these different tests and see which one works. And listen, when you find the sweet spot, stay there. Stay there, because that's going to be it. You may need to change a little bit of something, but stay right there. That's a sweet spot that's going to give you the most explosive reaction, okay, for your clients. And more explosive reaction for your clients is going to give you more dollars, right? So then another one is you need to measure which variations is the best result for the customer engagement and conversions. When you are out there, the conversions is getting not just the people to come to look and see what it is that you're offering, but you want them to be able to open up their wallets, okay, and to buy, okay, and be happy. So you want to do that as well. All right, so I know it may seem like a lot of information, and it is. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of information, but your business is worthy. You are worthy of knowing how to do this before you get into it. This is all the steps that you have to do before you get into it. This is all the steps that I do before I get into creating another business. This is all the steps I had to do before I decided that I wanted to do a skincare line. These are the steps I had to do, and I'm constantly doing homework. Every single day, I am doing research on skincare. 3 or 4 times a week, I'm having a meeting with my developer about the skincare and all the different things that come out and how do we stay on top, because things are changing all the time. So you have to do, you must do these things. And even after your business is already launched, you still want to pay attention to what's going on around you. Don't have your head down that you miss the movement of change, because things change all the time. We are in a fickle world. Only things last a moment and then they're on to something else. And you have to be able to know how to turn with the change without losing your identity, without losing the type of business that you said that you want to have, or the service that you're providing. So here's another one. When we'll talk about launching your business the next time that we get in here. I think I've given you quite a bit of information, and I want you to be able to digest this information on validating your business, because I don't want you to lose faith when you start your business and it becomes to be really a challenge. It's going to be a challenge anyway. Having a business is not easy. You are going to have to put some mental fortitude in creating your business, and you can do it. You can do it. Do the homework, then go ahead and then you're ready. You do the homework, you do the steps, then you're ready to go. So this was part 2 on validation of your business, and is your business validated before you get out here and start? Have you done all the research? And I will do part 3, and hopefully that will be the final part of the validation process, and then we'll move on to another series, And I am Christina L Turner, Kingmaker. I wish that you would prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prosper. And I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like my video, okay? And if you have any questions about anything that you have here on my YouTube channel, you can always reach me at info@ChristinaLTurner.com. Talk to you soon. God bless.